Morning guys, how's it? So we are at 4x4 Mega World in Pardon Island today, and we are with Jock, and we're standing with this amazing vehicle. I don't know if you know this vehicle, if you've seen it. It's the Tales of Valor Cayenne overlanding Porsche. Jock and his partner are driving, listen to this, from Cape Town to France. Not France or Paris up in Cape Town, they're actually driving to France with this vehicle. I think it's very unique, Jock, to take a vehicle of this caliber. In South Africa, we don't often see. I think this is one of a handful of Porsches that have actually been kitted to travel outside of South Africa and actually go all the way up. I mean, how much kilometers are we looking at, Jock?
It's about 18,000 kilometers.
18,000 kilometers. So that's a service and a half, 2 services basically of travel.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work that's been done to the vehicle. I mean, if you look at the POC bumpers that's been fitted, the Ranver winch, Euro-wise suspension, we've got Cooper tires on it. Mega World is fitting a whole array of accessories, and they've really kitted out the vehicle to be proper to travel, but not also overly done where it's too much complications. I think a lot of the time when people do these kind of trips, they overkit vehicles, and that's the problem where we sit with guys that have every last accessory, and it weights down the vehicle, also complicates your life. So Jock, I'm not going to talk too much. I actually want to know more about the vehicle, and besides the vehicle, I want to know what inspired the trip and what is the thought process behind it. And how long do you think you're going to be doing it? So let's go through it.
Well, it's pretty much a culmination of a whole life. I did a trip from Bombay to London in 1972. And I met a group of people in Mombasa, and we took a combi. And we crossed the Seychelles, and we went through originally to Pakistan. Pakistan was at war with India, and we waited for the war to finish, and we went to India, and we drove through India up through into the Kashmir, and then back down. We were the first people to cross over the border after the armistice had been signed, and we then went up through Pakistan into Afghanistan, up into the Hindu Kush, and around through to Iran, Iraq, Turkey, and then drove up through Bulgaria. At that stage was communist, and then through Yugoslavia, and then through to Europe. So I did that a long time ago. I met Florence about 2 years ago, and her original plan had been to come down from Switzerland to South Africa by car. And what happened is that 2 weeks before they left, she had an accident. So it resulted in not doing the trip, but they used the insurance money to buy a guest farm in Oudtshoorn. So she lived there for a long time, always with this intention of being able to drive back through Africa. So it's her life stream, you follow, but at the same time, it was something that I wanted to do as well. During the lockdown, I had a lot of time on my own, and I did a lot of investigation in terms of which cars to use, right? And if you Google the car less likely to break down within 300,000 miles, you find a Porsche. So, yes. So what I did was I'd looked at the Eurowise lifts and conversions that they've done in the States, and the question was, could I find somebody here in South Africa that had a car that in actual fact could do this? Originally, we started looking at the Jeep, and that's how we got involved with Carmichael. We saw this car. It had belonged to Chaz. It had been converted for him, and the question was it available? And it wasn't. So on that basis, we looked at Jeep. We then looked at Ineos. We then looked at the Defenders, and we got to the point where we never made up our minds. We couldn't make up our minds, and then this car came onto the market, so we bought it. We bought that just before Christmas. Then the question was, to what extent was it a reliable car in terms of the build? So what we did was we did a 5,000 kilometer trip over the Christmas New Year period, which took in Lesotho. We went up Sani Pass, we went through Lesotho, we went from Katsi Dam to Makgotlong, the worst roads in the world. We went through to Maseru, and then from Maseru we went all along the Orange River all the way through to Oranje, but we took in the Sperrgebied on the Namibian side of the border. And by the time we got to Oranje, we were very, very happy that there was nothing in the car that was a problem except for the suspension. So that then led us to go back to Eurowise and ask for the shocks that they developed for the car specifically. And we waited for 2 months for them to arrive. We had those fixed now by Wenzel Porsche, or what's it, Wenzel Motors. We were Porsche
So
specialists.
Wenzel Motors is working on the
So Wenzel Motors did the new shocks. We put them in, and in actual fact, it's been a phenomenal job because the original shocks that were in were incorrect. I think they were 200,000 kilometers in, and the coils were too hard. So what we've got now is we've got an excellent ride, for the first time tomorrow we will actually have the right height ride. We can set the ride height because we'll have the full loading.
The load
car.
on it, yes.
We've also decided not to go with the roof tent because everybody suggests a roof tent, but we've decided to go with the option of a bed and breakfast and a camping option as well. So I've got an awning which they're going to fit on this side, which then enables me to put up a ground tent on this side. I've got the Max Tracks on that side, and the rest then is going to go into a Ironman
Duffel bag.
that sits on top of the roof rack.
So you were saying that Florence wanted to drive from Switzerland to Cape Town, and
Yep.
then you said let's drive from Cape Town to Florence. What was the wake up moment when you decided, let's just do it, let's go for it? What was that one day? If you can take us back to the moment that you actually thought, we're talking about it, let's do it.
Well, what actually happened is that it started as a conversation because somebody said to me, what are you going to do with the rest of your life? And I said, I want to buy a Porsche and I want to go driving throughout the world. I love driving.
Yeah.
And then she said, that's what I wanted to do. And we were that's when we met, the first time we met. And then we decided to do it together. So
Okay.
that's how we've got together. And we've been together for a period of about 18 months to 2 years now.
It's a nice way to start a relationship, though.
Well, there's a commonality.
There's a
to follow.
commonality between it. And tell me something, what is your plans? Where are you going? What route are you going? Like, are you going to go straight through? You're going to the right? You're going to the left? You're going
Okay.
east, west?
So the deal that we want to do is that when we started this thing, it was a case of whether or not we could travel together.
Yeah.
So we had a little Renault at that stage.
Yeah.
And not this November, but the previous one. I come down for my mother's birthday, and Florence was with me. And we went up to Jacobsbaai because of my namesake. And when we came out onto the N7, it was a question, do we turn left or do we turn right? And we turned left and we went. So we went all the way up the west coast because I'd never done that before. And then we crossed over into Namibia, and then we went as far as we could, wherever we could, with the little Renault. So we went right up to the Skeleton Coast. So we went up to Cape Cross, but we couldn't go off-road because it was only a two-wheel drive.
Yeah.
So we came back down through Windhoek. We went through from Windhoek to Maun. We went from Maun to Natta. We came back into South Africa. So we did in that month we did about 6,000 kilometers or 7,000 kilometers.
Look, there's a saying in camping world that we often talk about. If you really want to test the dexterity and the strength of a relationship, you camp with someone.
Yeah.
Because that is when, all the campers out there will know how we argue with our spouses when we camp and when we're setting up, when we're breaking down. I feel it's one of the most stressful times in a marriage or a relationship when that camping fight, all my friends camp, but they fight all the time when they're camping. It's just that thing, 10 minutes later they're sitting having a drink together. And that tests your relationship.
So for us, that was like a test that we could in actual fact be together.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the question was, we came down to Cape Town again. We decided to settle here to see whether or not we could live in the Cape. Okay, I spent last winter in Cape Town and decided that that's not what I'd like to be. And it was exactly the same as Florence. She comes originally from Geneva. I lived in Chamonix for 10, 12 years. I love skiing, and that's what I went there for. And I love winter, where it's really cold. I don't like this mot, miserable.
You like the icy
Yes,
kind of.
you know what I mean. I like winter. I like skiing. I like winter sports. I like climbing. So that was the deal. So
From a preparation point of view, I'm not talking about vehicle accessory preparation because we're going to cover the vehicle accessories. What preparations mentally, and a lot of people don't realize when you're spending 3 months, 4 months on the road, it's not, there comes a time when we're camping for 12 to 14 days and at day number 10 you actually want to go home or you miss your bed. How have you prepared yourselves? What is your thought process? If you can maybe take us through that.
okay, so for me the most important thing is, okay, I don't know if anybody's watched the Ex-Overlander series.
Yeah.
All right.
I have.
Okay, so the last series they pitch up in Africa, right? And they have a schedule, and they have to keep to the schedule because they've got to be here then and there and there, and it doesn't work that way. So the biggest thing that Florence and I have had is to let go. in terms of a schedule and timing. Okay, if we're going to do this thing, it's a divine expression. Okay, so we want it to be a divine timing.
Yeah.
All right. So even the wheel cover that isn't ready today, do you follow? There's a reason for it.
Yeah.
It's not an issue of, oh, you know, my wheel cover's not done. It's for a reason. It's there.
That's always been a thing that I spoke about this at a braai a week or two ago, is that there are going to be so many variables out of your control when you are traveling. You know, suddenly something's going to happen that, you know, you planned, no matter how you plan, something will always throw a curveball. And mentally, a lot of people don't understand that if you're halfway through the leg of your tour and something happens, you cannot let that deter you or determine the rest of the trip.
Yeah.
You need to be like, this is the problem right now, we're dealing with it, and now we're going to enjoy the rest of the trip. And I think a lot of people, that is the mental prep that I always feel. All the times that we've traveled, there's always been, suddenly you lose a tire, you know, and you can't fret over it and destroy all it. So that's the mental prep I'm talking about in terms of how you prepare yourself.
Okay.
Also in terms of that, what is your friends and family's thoughts about this whole expedition and the trip and the traveling?
All right. Well, on that score, I haven't had a problem traveling because I've done a lot of work in sub-Saharan Africa. I did a tremendous amount of driving in my Mercedes diesel because of the fact that it worked. I've been all over before they even tarred it, you follow, because basically I worked in Zambia, I worked up to into Zaire, into Lubumbashi. And if I didn't fly, you follow, I used to drive because my problem was that there was nothing on the road. In actual fact, it was safe. So to take a taxi and find the guy stopping on a hill to change the wheel nuts from the back to the front so that there would be 3 wheel nuts in the front, 2 on the back. I didn't want to do that either. So I got to the point where I used to drive and I don't have a problem in doing the driving. So there are roads out there and people drive because they're trucks.
No, but I mean, what is your family? What is your kids?
All right,
how have they felt about it?
So for me, the thing is that I've always been busy. All right. So there was a period of my life when I would spend 9 months away from home every year. I was either in the States, I was either in Europe, or I was either in Africa, because that was my business. That was what I did. So being away from home is not an issue. Traveling is not an issue. My children, when I bought the Porsche, that was the biggest reaction. Why the hell a Porsche?
Why a Porsche? Yeah. I think everybody, when we started kitting the thing, we were driving around, that was always the reaction, but it's a Porsche, but you can't do it with a Porsche. You can't take a Porsche in the mouth.
Everybody, you know, there's no Porsche garages here. You're never going to get this. You better get the right warranties. All this crap's going to happen right. What we've done is we've been able to go so far as find out there's a Porsche dealer in every country in Africa. All right, there's a registered Porsche dealer. Doesn't matter. Okay, you might not.
So this is the baby Toyota then. It's basically got a dealership everywhere.
So you've got a dealership. Doesn't mean to say that you've got a dealership in every town. You follow? But neither do you find a Defender dealership in every town. You follow? But the other thing is that my belief is that this is a car that is actually a really good car. It's an underrated car. And what I did was I started looking at all of the footage that came out of the Trans-Siberian Rail. And there's some phenomenal stuff that happened there in terms of the use of a straightforward stand-in Porsche.
Yeah.
Okay, and that was from Moscow to Ulaanbaatar. And that's a hell of a race. But they've stopped it now. But the big thing is that Porsche proved that it could be done.
Look, we've personally had a lot of fun in this vehicle, and one of the things I do know with the Porsche Cayenne was probably one, if not the first, or one of the first vehicles that could 100% take 100% of its power and put it to one wheel.
Yeah.
So if 3 wheels were spinning, it could put all the power to this wheel or that wheel at the back. And that helps you in a sticky situation. But those are the things that people don't research. People, you're always assuming that it has to be a Hilux, or it has to be a Land Cruiser, or it has to be one of those vehicles. And this is German engineering at the end of the day. The other thing I wanted to ask you was, what's your excitement level right now before you leave? Are you excited? Are you nervous?
No, I've got to the point now where, in Sanskrit, Nietzsche, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
All right, we've got to the point where there's still things which I have to sort out before we leave, and we're going to leave tomorrow, so we'll finalize them either in Johannesburg or in Pretoria on our way through. But it's a case of now doing it.
Yeah.
So the anticipation of getting to the point of leaving is now gone.
I know it's been months. I mean, we've been, since you bought the vehicle, which was December.
Yeah.
It's been months that you're prepping. I remember with the suspension wheel. So when we drove it, we had the suspension issue. We could feel that it was a bit too hard on the road. I mean, we took this thing into the Grabouw Mountains, and I mean, this thing performed. It was my first time with a Porsche out in the mountains, and I was like, okay, you know, and I had the same negativity towards it. I was like, you know, you can't take a Porsche. You know, you can take maybe a Touareg, but you can't take a Porsche. But I mean, this thing truly surprised us in terms of capability. There was no issues. It was my Land Cruiser, this Porsche and Jeep that night, and it was an amazing vehicle. So what I wanted to, I'm not going to hop it too much on the because we're actually going to go through the whole vehicle now and go through all the mods, everything that they've done to the vehicle and that they are going to be packing in the vehicle. So the one thing I want to say is that this whole trip is going to be documented on TOV TV within our Trails of Valor app, and you'll be able to follow Florence and Jock all the way through Africa because they've learned to fly a drone, they've learned to edit videos, they've learned to use a proper camera. So they're going to be documenting. We're hoping every second week to get content to put it on because it also depends on the internet signal. So we can't necessarily say the upload speeds, how long we're going to get it. But we are going to be regularly posting about where they are, what they're doing. They're going to be sending us little videos and telling us the things that, I mean, you're going to be showing us. You said you're going to Kilimanjaro is where you want to go.
That's what we want to do as well.
Just standing at the base of Kilimanjaro. So this Trails of Valor off the beaten track Porsche is literally going to drive from Cape Town to France, and we're going to show you all the content. So if you want to see what they're doing and follow their trip and see the amazing drive of a Porsche Cayenne from Cape Town to France, download the Trails of Valor app, go to TOV TV and look for the channel where we're going to be publishing everything that they're doing from the day that they leave.
Okay, and I'm just going to add this in. Okay, the world record from the Northern Cape in Norway to the Cape Agulhas is 9.5 days. Okay?
You're not going to beat that, are you?
No. Solid driving in a Porsche.
Is it?
Yes. So
the
Porsche
world
did that,
record.
but the Porsche did that as their own, you know, as an in-house experience, and they did it in 9.5 days.
In which Porsche?
I don't know, it was a Porsche Cayenne.
That's interesting. Really interesting.
So we don't try it. You know, our intention is not to break a record. Our intention is to have a car that works and follow irrespective of. Okay.
This is the reason why, because, you know, at the end of the day, before we look at the vehicle, this Porsche, there's a few brands that are like Porsche, and these are what you call, in my opinion, legacy brands. These are brands that have been and proven their worth. They're not brands that's just selling numbers. They've proven their. That's why Porsche is such a synonymous vehicle with class and style and comfort. It's almost like a Mercedes-Benz. It's proven its legacy over the years of working on the engineering behind the vehicle.
All right. The other thing too is just Porsche stopped making a reduction gearbox in 2012. So this is a 2009 model. Yeah. So the big thing is that it's got a low range, it's got a high range, and it's also got a diff locker in as well. And that's something that very few people know. Okay. So in terms of its capability, gearing-wise and engine-wise, and the other thing too is that it's a diesel. And I've chosen diesel because wherever I go in Africa, there's diesel trucks and there's diesel mechanics. Yeah. The other thing that I've done too in terms of diesel and questions of diesel is that I found, by way of Denel, South African armaments industry, a product that they created to save and to ensure that a tank engine couldn't be destroyed.
Because that's dirty diesel again.
With dirty diesel. Yeah. And there's a product called Diesel Fix, which is marketed down, which is an emulsifier. So it's a natural product which emulsifies the water and anything else that's in there to combine with the diesel so it's burnt. So it's a clean burning, it creates a clean burn. And then it cleans anything that comes back into the tank as well. Okay.
So you're prepared now. You've got clean diesel, clean vehicle.
It increases your fuel capacity to follow. You know what I mean? So
your fuel range.
My fuel range. So my fuel range has gone up. I've gone up from the time that I bought the car. You follow? It's gone from 7.9 to 8.9, depending per liter. Okay, it's kilometers per liter, depending on the drive.
So what are you getting? 800-900 k's on a 100-liter tank.
I'm getting 910, 912 on.
And you're doing 18,000 kilometers.
Yeah.
So you're looking at 20 tanks, basically.
20 tanks, right?
Yeah, 20 tanks is what we'll get. Look, on the long road, you might even get... Look, the sandy conditions is going to mess with your consumption.
Well, my consumption on sand goes down to 6.7.
Yeah.
The other thing that I've done, too, is I've been able to work out my ranges now. So I've bought, instead of buying jerry cans, which everybody puts on, I've bought motorbike bladders. So I've got 3 bladders of 20 liters. They compress and they fit into my roof bag.
Yeah.
But then when I fill them up, they can sit on top of my roof bag, and then I've got 60 liters extra. So that's the way that I've.
So your diesel you're going to secure on the roof, not in the vehicle.
Not in the vehicle,
Okay.
no.
No, just creating where you're going to put the bladders.
Yeah.
Okay, it's interesting. So you've got enough fuel. So I'm looking at 20 tanks that are 100 liters. It's not that bad if you think of it. 20 tanks to drive 18,000 kilometers to France. And then you're obviously crossing at Gibraltar over. So Flo has just joined us now, and she was teaching this morning, and this is the couple that is driving. This is Flo and Jacques that we went through earlier on. Flo, are you excited? Are you nervous? How's your emotions right now?
I'm excited and I can't wait to go.
Okay, you can't wait to leave. So we're going to be touching on what they've done to the vehicle. At the front of the vehicle, we had the BOC bumpers installed with a Ranvo winch, and we've also got the Cooper 83 tires on, which is the all-terrain tires.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned earlier on, they've taken out the suspension. Now, that was before us.
Yeah.
And they've put in the Eurowire suspension, which is not an air suspension, and it's a 2-inch lift that you've got in the vehicle.
3-inch lift.
3-inch lift.
Yeah.
Okay, so the vehicle's quite high in terms of clearance right now. Headlights, you're leaving the same.
Exactly.
Obviously got
Yeah.
the drone zone, which is the landing pad. And then this is the accessories that is going to be fitted by 4x4 Megaworld today. Like we've got the ARB Tread Pros, which are going to be fitted onto the roof rack, onto the front runner roof rack that's laying on top there. And I see you've got a ladder, and that ladder is just to get to the roof rack.
Get the roof racking done.
And you've also got the Desert Products ladder bag.
Yeah.
That ladder is going to lay in the back.
That's right, yeah.
Your planning thing. Then I see you've got a cargo net here that is basically just going to be tying down.
It will tie down because what we've agreed to do is we're going to put the bag on top. So that's the luggage bag that fits in pretty much exactly to the size of the front runner.
And it's a waterproof bag.
So waterproof bag, and that gives us about 350 liters of.
And what are you planning to keep in the bag?
Well, what we do is everything we're not going to use that we're taking on the trip, we're going to put up there.
Well, not
All right.
going to use every day because
Every
we
day,
are going to
that's-
use
yeah.
it.
Okay, yeah, but not every day. And you've got the ladder to get up there.
Up and down, yeah. And then
And
what
then I see you going with a TPMS.
we're going to put a tire pressure monitoring system on it. Okay. So that's basically.
So you basically just can monitor. It's a very good thing to have this though, because not only for tire deflation, it also works very well when it comes to tire temperature.
Yes. Yeah.
The temperature inside the tire, which is a lot of people, especially when you're driving, you'll be driving through Sahara and the hottest of hot conditions.
And can I just say a thing about the roof bag? Some people asked us, why don't we have a hard box that you can lock? But the thing is that we sometimes won't want it, so you can just fold it up and it's very small.
Also,
Whereas
if
a
you
hard
had a
box
bed
is
and
always
breakfast,
there.
you could actually carry this inside if you wanted to
Exactly,
repack
yeah,
it.
exactly.
Or do, and that's the thing with the roof box, because I've had a roof box before. It's not an easy thing to pack because you always have to be on top there to pack it. Where with the bag, we've got 2 bags that we use. You're able to put it on the ground, pack it how you want to, waist it up, and really go through it. That's the one positive of having a bag. The lock, what are you locking up?
The lock is out. It's not coming on because basically it was going to be for the back wheel.
Okay.
But there's nothing like the bolt cutter can't do. So what I've done is that on the back, I've put in 3 lock nuts
Okay.
to hold the tire.
So you basically got lock nuts on there.
Yeah.
So that's everything that's basically been done on the
And then you've got the awning, which we'll put on the other
We're
side.
going to go to that side.
Okay, all right.
So that's everything that's been done on the front of the vehicle, and the winch is not permanently connected. You're only connecting it when you need it.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So basically, there's a loose lead in there, which is then tied down.
Yeah, so you connect it
And
to
then
that
I
point,
just connected, and then I winch from there.
and then you're able to go through. So now we can move to the other side of the vehicle and just go through what all has been done at the back of the vehicle, and then we're going to touch on the inside of the vehicle. So now at the back of the vehicle, also a BOC bumper that's been built with a wheel carrier. And as you'll see, another Cooper 83. And you've sprayed it. This is the original red that it comes in.
Yeah. So what we've done is we've taken that out of the wheel housing.
Yeah.
That leaves me with an empty wheel housing. So what we've done is that everything that's to do with either rescue services, mechanical, alternative spare parts are all in the wheel housing.
And how do you get to it with the drawers?
So you just pull the drawers out and you put them on the ground and you go into the wheel housing.
Okay, so you're able to access it from this. So
Yes,
it's not
yeah.
a solid base at the
No, not at all.
Okay. This drawers, I love this company, the Camper Company. I always love this Honeycomb. I actually met them at the KK Expo, and they've done a few vans that I've seen. And I just love the way that they think it out. Also, the finish of it is amazing. But they've done something for you that you were showing us earlier.
Yeah, so what they did was they designed for us a platform that has got a folding, what do you call it, lever, what would you
It's another platform that folds out.
It's a folding platform. So that enables us to retract it and put the seats up. So we can use the car in its normal form with the seats up, or with the seats down.
So if you don't find accommodation that night or it's a bit cold,
We can sleep here.
have you tried to sleep in it yet?
Not yet, but
I
it'll.
think you should do it tonight.
Oh yeah.
Maybe set it up tonight, get you sleep in the car tonight.
We'll try that somewhere else.
So what do you have in the drawers? On the left, what are you keeping and what are you keeping on the right, like in the basic form?
So basically what I've got is that I've got the inverter in there.
Yeah.
Okay. On this side here, I've got the compressor,
Yeah.
which is a portable compressor. And then I've also got my water filtration system in there as well.
Okay.
So I've got an independent alternate water system that I can put into sewage and I can pump out and I can use the
So
water
you
that comes
guarantee
out of it.
always
So I'm
clean.
guaranteed clean water.
So I see you running with the lithium Flexo
Yes.
Power, the 700.
Yes.
This is an amazing piece of tech. Guys, if you don't know, this is basically an all-in-one UPS inverter, everything. It takes solar, it's got USB, USB-C. It's an amazing piece of tech. Not only for traveling, even for camping, for load shedding, everything. We love this thing. It's one of the things that I swear by with traveling. It's
Yeah.
just such a versatile
So
product.
what we've done is we can run our computers off of that.
Yeah.
And basically we can recharge all of our electricals off of that
Phones,
as
drones.
well. Phones,
Yeah.
drones, everything.
And the nice thing with this is, and what I always try to explain to people with having these power packs, is that let's say you get to accommodation that necessarily doesn't have power on that evening or at all, this is a power source.
Okay, and then to that is connected a foldable
Solar
solar panel. And that solar panel, if there's a good sunny day, it recharges that
and it charges while you're
4 hours. Yeah, and it also charges when I'm.
while you're driving. So it's an all-in-one.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a totally all-in-one unit. And then this side you were saying, let me just open this side. And then this side you've got your compressor, your water pump, and you've got your
And
compressor.
then I've got my stoves in here as well.
Your stove.
Okay, so what I'm doing is I've got a combination of stoves. I've got a gas stove, which in actual fits, and then I've got a gas cylinder if I need to use it independently. And then I've also got an MSR stove, which gives me, it's a multi-fuel stove. So I can use diesel, I can use petrol, I can
Paraffin.
use paraffin, and I can use avgas as well.
Okay, so you
So-
kind of like, you covered for everything. Is this your compressor?
This is my compressor, which is the ARB.
You're going with the ARB compressor. Look, these things, again, also I've got this in my setup. And this is an amazing piece of tech also.
It really is, yeah.
No, you know, this is one of the compressors that handles heat the best.
Yeah.
And also it's configurable. But the other plus that I love about this compressor is it doesn't pump continuously. It only pumps and activates when you
Up
pull
to a
the
point,
trigger.
yes, yeah.
So a lot of compressors run constantly and they overheat. This is just a really, and I like this high handy case you've got with it.
Yeah.
Like-
So that's the way I've done that. And then what I've got is with that is I've got an Indiflate,
Yeah.
okay, which works like a
I would say use the Indiflate
yeah,
double or full.
double.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then basically that's all fitted in the side. Yeah.
Okay, so you've got on the sides, you've got your Indiflate,
Yeah.
you've got your tire repair kit, I see over
Yes,
here.
yeah.
Okay, so you've really thought it out.
Yeah.
And then here you've got your bladders, and then that's your
Okay.
jumper leads, or is that?
And then I've still got access to my poor storage in here.
Yeah.
So in here I've got my extra oil,
Yeah.
and I've got my diesel fixes, and I've got my lubricants.
And your first aid kit, where are you keeping your?
My first aid kit is just behind the driver's seat.
Okay, so you're able to get to it quickly.
Yes, together with what's his name?
Fire extinguisher.
What do you go? Fire extinguisher.
Yeah. That's one of the two things. First aid kit, fire extinguishers, like a necessity. Keep it as close by as you can, within reach, never in a drawer packed away. It's just,
Okay.
you know, it happens at
And then
the
I've got
worst
an
time.
extra fire extinguisher which I keep in
Yeah.
with my stoves.
That's also something. And that's something that we've learned on our traveling. We have one at our front seat and we keep one at the back. Because if something goes wrong with gas or paraffin or whatever, there may not be time to run to the front.
And then what we'll do then is that our cooking will all take place outside the car.
Yeah.
So that will fit on my little camping table under the awning.
I was going to ask you, so you've got a camping table also going in.
My camping table is going to be loose. It's loose fitted and it'll fit on the back.
So we have, and chairs?
And we've got 2 chairs. Yeah.
Were you going heavy duty chairs or light duty?
Well, they light duty, yeah.
Okay. It's just the two of you. I don't think anyone's going to be jumping. And then in the back here, what else can you point out? Is like, I see you've got this film, but this is obviously just to protect this beautiful
No.
film.
No, it's just to
It's-
make up space.
Yeah.
And also, if we sleep on it, there's a 10 millimeter.
Yeah.
Yes,
There's the height of the
between
board,
the
so I
two.
put that
Yeah.
in so that I can actually put my.
And then the
What-
carrier, you're removing the carrier. This is not going
No, it'll go back in because then the integrity of the car stays. So if I put my back seats up,
Yeah.
then it's in and it works.
And it's like a normal car.
Not like a normal car.
Okay. Nice to go through this.
Yeah.
Then interior-wise, we're going to touch on the interior and just look at the small modifications that they've done. Okay. So What is this?
This is a portable toilet. You can take it anywhere. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Ooh. I see it's a little spade.
Yeah, well, that's it.
Make a hole.
With an extension.
You hold it. Have you seen those ones that go onto your spare wheel? That's a toilet seat.
Really?
Like the cutest little thing ever. So that's the portable toilet sorted now. So you know you sorted water, toilet, power. That's all you basically
Washing
need.
now,
And shade.
also.
So I see that you've got once the platform's extended now.
Yeah.
And you're going to be sleeping and you're going to be using that as storage space for your little necessities.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so that's not a bad. So it's actually well thought out the way it rests on the seat.
Yes.
Then on the inside you've got seat covers. These are House of Henry seat covers.
Yes, because nobody else could give me a seat cover that fitted Porsche. So they cut a template for me. So if anybody's got a Porsche and they want to get seat covers made, go to House of Henry because they've got a set of templates.
Yeah, and they do. Oh, so they've got the template already.
Templates.
Then you mentioned you've got a kill switch under the seat.
I did that, yes.
What does the kill switch kill?
What it does is it kills the battery.
So everything leaving the battery is dead.
Everything leaving the battery is dead. So if I switch it off, there can be no drain on the battery. Because my biggest problem was looking for an alternative to a rundown battery.
Yeah.
So I would have to buy a battery charger.
Yeah, with those
But then I have a problem because I don't have, to follow with the Porsche, I've only got 2 terminals outside of the battery.
Yeah.
So to get to the battery, to do a charge, I have to take out the front seat.
Yeah.
So that's why I put in the cut-off switch.
Okay. So you don't want to have the jumper.
I don't want to have the
Yeah,
jumpers. No.
completely done. In terms of shading, when you park in the vehicle, what are you doing for shade?
Well,
Because
there's
you've got the awning coming.
yeah, the whole idea is to have an awning here, which is a front runner awning, and it's just a straightforward 180 degree.
And then you window covers. Are you doing any window covers?
No.
Okay. So and sun visor?
No.
Okay. No, I'm just asking in terms
No,
of.
that's
of
fine.
shade.
Yeah,
And then refrigeration wise, what?
Okay, so what we've done is we bought a fridge, which is a little 20-liter fridge,
Yeah.
and that fits on top of here. It sits here, and then it plugs in into the back.
Okay.
But there's also a plug-in switch here. I've got a plug here.
Okay, so you're able to plug in.
Yeah, so I can plug it in and run
And you
it.
just tie the fridge down and
And we've tested it before because when we did that trip into Lesotho, what it does is that if you run it
Yeah.
during the course of your drive, it will last. It takes about 8 or 9 hours for the temperatures to change.
And then how are you securing the fridge down while you're driving?
Well, what I'll do is I'll either put in an additional cargo net over here, or I'll use bungee cord.
Yeah, just tie it down.
So that's the process that
Especially for
we're still going through.
Yeah,
So-
especially when you're going to eat in the corrugation.
Oh, yeah.
So I just want to look at the plug that you've got. You've got the normal cigarette plug.
It's like a lighter plug, yeah.
Like the plug.
Yeah.
So the one thing, and this is, you don't have to put this in, the one thing I must just tell you with that cigarette like the plugs is you need to wash them
Yes.
because on the corrugations they come loose all the time.
So we've done that, but we put in the new shocks now, so we shouldn't have any problems with corrugations. And we've got an Indiflate, which now enables us to get the tires to the right level.
Deflate down,
Yeah.
really. And these are amazing tires to deflate. I ran these tires on my Pajero for the whole life of me driving, and I went everywhere with it. And once they deflated, the footprint you get with them, they're also quiet. That's
Yeah.
the one plus of the Cooper tires. They're not noisy like other tires. You're gonna get that quietness.
Yeah. So I've tested the tire down to about 0.7 of a bar, and they work like a bomb as well.
And then in terms of communication, what are you doing in terms of your comms? Are you
So we've got phones, iPhone and the other one. And we're going to buy a SIM card in every country we come into. And we're not going Garmin or satellite phone.
you're just gonna as you go? I mean, you've got WhatsApp. Once you've got data and WhatsApp,
So what we do is we buy a data card,
yeah.
and then we got a portable dongle which we can use in any country. It's open. Okay, and all we do is put in a data card, and then
And
for
you
that
just have
country
your
we've got it.
data.
So all we have to do is be within the vicinity of a town
Yeah.
to be able to use it.
to get proper data.
Yeah.
So you filming?
Yes.
You're gonna be filming, flying drone, and you're editing.
Yes. Yes. Well, I'm hoping for your help for editing.
Yeah, no, me and Ricardo is on standby. We'll be able to talk you through. We were saying earlier on that we're going to be getting the content from you, and it's going to be available on Golf TV on the app. And I think a lot of people. Yesterday, I posted, or Sunday when we were at your farewell, I posted a picture on my Instagram of the Porsche and said it was leaving for France. And people were asking me, "Oh, but can we watch this journey? Can we watch? Is it documented somewhere?" So I think there's going to be a nice following, especially like again the type of vehicle that you came with. I think it's been done 1,000 times in a TL.
Yeah, we're not
a million times in a
And
Defender.
a Defender, and
Yeah.
you know, people have done it in Volkswagens, people
Yeah.
have done it on motorbikes, people are running it at the moment. People are riding it on bicycles.
Nobody's doing it in the Ford. Anything to the brakes you've done? That's the last thing I wanted to ask you.
Yeah, so what I've done is that in terms of the brakes, what we've done is I've replaced the original hubs, you follow, and the discs.
Yeah.
And then what I've done is I've gone with brake pads that are that are compliant with the calipers. The calipers, yeah.
Any specific brand, or you just went for the...
I think these are Hellers,
okay.
and then the calipers, the Heller as well, yeah. But I mean the calipers are Porsche, but the pads are Heller, yeah.
Yeah. No, so obviously, also now that you've got disc brakes back in front, you're going to be having proper stopping power. I'm very excited for your journey, though. I think it's like also to be part of it and to see where you guys are going to be going. And I just think it's a unique thing. And like I said, a lot of people's done it before, but I've never seen it done in a Porsche.
Okay, so
in America they travel with Porsches, in Europe they travel with
they
Porsches,
totally do it.
but we don't find it in Africa.
Okay, so our route is what we're doing is we're going to Johannesburg, Pretoria, then through to Botswana. Then we want to do the game reserves at the top of Botswana, or the game, yeah, and then back down through to Windhoek, down Windhoek, and then back across to Walvis Bay, Swakopmund, then up the coast, and then across to Etosha, up to the border with Angola, along the border to the falls, the Power Falls, or I don't know what they're.
And then you go to Zambia.
Then cross over into Angola and do the game parks at the bottom, at the bottom part of Angola. Come around, back into Namibia, along the Caprivi to Zambia, Malawi, Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda. Then Uganda, DRC. We're going to cut from the DRC through the Central African Republic, top part of Cameroon, to the northern part of Nigeria. We're going to Kano, and then along the border and cross into Niger, cross over Niger, and then straight up through the middle of Algeria, through the Sahara. Then we get to Tunis, okay, so we get to Algiers, then Tunisia, Tunis, and then take the ferry over to Sicily. And then we're in Europe, and then it's a straight drive home.
You know, the things that you're going to see and the memories you're going to make and the adventure of it. I mean, it's just, I can't even comprehend the things. I mean, Malawi is beautiful, Zambia is beautiful, but the rest of Africa is just as beautiful. Yeah. I mean, so, and even going through Algeria, I think we spoke about it Sunday, Algeria is one of the lesser known beautiful countries in Africa.
And
Unbelievable.
it's the biggest country of Africa.
Yeah, all of that. Really?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
But I was watching guys that travel to it, and it's unbelievable. You can actually see the European influence in Algeria because of the distance between Europe and Algeria.
And they speak French as well, so that's another thing.
It's obviously been quite a lot. And then you both speak French?
No, Florence is a very good linguist, so she's busy at the moment with Arabic and Swahili. So,
but you obviously got your translator apps and all of that.
Yeah. But the problem I've always seen with translator apps is that you have to be connected. And that's not always something you can rely on.
I know that there are ones that you can actually download the pack.
Yeah.
Where you can download like the pack for Chinese or Mandarin, and you can download the pack so that you don't have to be loud. Anyway, I'm not going to keep you. We're going to talk whole day about it. I wish you everything of the best.
Thank you,
and I hope you travel well and safe. And please stay in touch with us. Like we're looking forward to
at least on a weekly basis, man.
Hopefully a week.
Yeah.
But look after yourselves. Be safe. Take as many pictures.
And if you don't hear from us, we're going to have a tracker in here. So you'll be able to get hold of the tracker company.
So you do have a tracker here?
Yeah, we do.
For the
but also film it, take pictures, but also don't take too many. Take it in also.
I'll take a lot,
I don't know
but
if you want to add this as well. Sorry, we've got an insurance package which gives us coverage, comprehensive coverage, as it would be in South Africa, in 17 African countries. Right? Okay. Once we're out of the range of those countries, we then buy insurance for each country as we go.
So as you go to the border, you buy the insurance.
Yes, that's it.
A TIP, temporary.
And once you get to Europe, you're okay.
Yeah, well, then we'll get an insurance there. Like we'll get a French insurance,
So guys, we wish them all the best. And if you want to see what they're doing, if you want to follow their trip, you're able to download the Tales of Valor app. You go into TAV TV and you look for It's a Good Beginning. That's the tag we're going to have. We're going to be uploading hopefully every week. You're going to find their pictures on our Instagram. You can also find Flo on Instagram, which is FloMont4. But we wish you everything on the best. And guys, follow this tip. Porsche from Cape Town to France is not a small feat. So everything on the best, guys. And just look after yourselves.
We will. Chat.